Hello everybody, welcome back to Sequoia episode 5. This format's going to be a little bit different than the previous versions. This is essentially just going to be a world tour because I gotta be honest, I do not feel like editing. I spent all day yesterday editing that video that just came out. That was the tour of this complex right here. But this is Sequoia episode 5, and I'm going to be giving you a tour of everything that we have done since episode 4, and it has been quite substantial. I have Distant Horizons on, by the way, so you can see all of these beautiful buildings over there, but yeah, we did a little building off camera, but we'll go over there in a minute. We're going to start over here. As you can see, as you probably would have seen in the last video, we have made quite a bit of progress over here. Now, the biggest difference, actually, is not the skyscrapers. In terms of the volume of blocks, the largest difference is we now have this western terrain expansion. Well, it's not an expansion. The mountains are still over there. They're still hanging out. And you have these beautiful boats over there. I have my Distant Horizons cranked up, and somehow my computer is not on fire, which works for me. But these cliffs are all brand new. So special shout out to Rainey. He's the one that also made this terrain, and he's been helping out with some of these roads here as well. Just helping me flatten them out and make them work. But essentially, the idea was to bring the west side of this terrain up, because before it was pretty much flat, just like this all the way across. But we felt that we wanted something a little bit higher up. And the main reason being, if you are back in the mountains and you are looking over down here by the shipyard, this is quite a tall building, and it felt like it was protruding quite a bit. So I figured, maybe if we raise this up to, what is it, Y40, then that could kind of help block it a little bit. Not entirely, but, you know, make it protrude just a little bit less. So before I actually jump into that section there, I'm going to show you some of these ships. Not in too much detail, but there are quite a few boats over here. These are full-sized. You can see the level of detail is a little bit lower. That's just because I am using Distant Horizons, but if I did fly over there, then it would look pretty cool. Anyway, these are some boats. Most of these are by MiG-31. You can see the Evergreen there. No, it is not stuck in the Suez Canal. It is currently free. And there's another one hanging out right over there. Although, again, the level of detail is a little bit lower. Same boat, but yeah, it's just in the distance. Anyway, these other boats are by Mata Arch, who's on the server right now. He made this one. And then we've got a couple over here. Are these ones by Mata? Or, oh no, these might be by Ewan. We have another boat builder now. Mata, are these yours or are these Ewan's? Sorry, I forget. One of the two. Anyway, we have lots of boat builders, lots of cool stuff. We have a shipyard that we are working on over here. I will put an overlay. Actually, no, I won't. Here you go. This is in the software Figma. This was a brainstorming session that myself, Mata Arch, and one of our other friends named Michael had probably a couple weeks ago. But this is the port. This was pre-adjustment of the terrain, but we decided, hey, why don't we put a river right through here? Slowly working on an airport, which is, I haven't actually started it yet, but we are reserving a lot of the land for it because it is going to take up quite a considerable section. But this is approximately what it is going to look like for the shipyard, and you have everything else up here: dry bulk, liquid bulk, cargo, break bulk. I don't really know the difference between them, but go watch Mata Arch's videos, and I'm sure at some point then he will explain that as well. But if we jump back into the world, we can see that we have also added all of these canals through here. And this is going to be that port plan that we just saw. We also have this beautiful river way over there. Thank you, Rainey. That is fantastic. It is based on the Fraser River in Vancouver, British Columbia. There's going to be a lot of cool stuff on there. But essentially, oh, yeah, you can also see a runway, approximately. It's not going to stay there, but I just wanted to size it out. But yeah, you have all these beautiful new cliffs here, which I thought was pretty cool. Still going to make some adjustments to it. I asked Rainey to keep it blank and add no trees at all, just because I wanted to make some modifications before we actually completed this area. It's probably going to be a little while before we get around to this, but we do have a lot of projects on the go. Between this episode and the last one, we also started a ski resort way up there with those mountains that are not quite loading in. If you go and watch that video again, we have not made any progress. I kind of got distracted. with this here and a couple other projects here as well, specifically this big terrain. But if we fly all the way back down here, let's take a look at what we have so far. So this is Point Grey, which is based on Point Grey in Vancouver. Now, would you find these buildings in Point Grey? No, you would find these at the corner, well, not corner, but pretty well close to Cambie and 29th Avenue in Vancouver. That is what they are based on. Go watch my last 2 videos if you want to see the design process. But this street is almost done. There's still a handful of details that I would like to add. That is our stop sign so far. It's quite literally just a sign. I don't really know what else to do for it, but I kind of like the simplicity of it. Somebody may recommend using entities. I'm not a huge fan of entities, especially in a map of this size. One of the goals for this map is to keep it as user-friendly as possible, so that if you don't have a great computer, you can still check this map out. And if you have a lot of entities in a very dense space, that lags even me out, and I don't really like that. But occasionally, entities are quite useful, especially if you want to add maybe something for a bus lane, a bike lane, or maybe even a Tim Hortons. Anyway, I have had a lot of help with these houses. I did not make any of these ones. These are built by a mix of players, but it's pretty cool. I really like these houses. They're so detailed in here as well, which I really, really love. The great part about these houses is that I am using them as templates. So essentially, I can copy and paste them and then just change the color. So you'll notice this one, this is a red house. Take a look at it. See it? And then if we go over here, this is actually the same house. I just changed up the top here. I changed the material, and then I just flipped it. And then I changed this down here as well. So you have that orange over top, and now it's just white. So essentially, I just changed the identifying features, and then, you know, just have at her. I'm not going to show you this in too much detail. Again, go watch my previous video if you want a tour, or 2 videos ago if you want the entire detailed design process. I would highly recommend that. But over here, we have a laneway. It is not an alleyway. It is a laneway. I don't really know the difference. In my uninformed opinion, I believe that laneways are behind mostly residential houses, and alleyways are more when you have like skyscrapers and going between. That's not an official definition, by the way. I'm sure somebody will correct me in the comments. Please do. But I would love to learn the difference. Over here we have some pretty cool houses. We'll check this out. This is a tree by Rainy. This is a house by somebody. I don't know if there's a sign anywhere. But yeah, cool little house. This is by Mata Arch, so we can see... Nope. Sequoia Building Co. Nope, hold on. Mata Arch Developments. There you go. But this is a house that is under construction. You have a little porta potty, which is pretty cool. That's a nice detail. I'll just go right here. Don't mind me. And yeah, so one of the challenges with all of these houses, you can actually see them floating over there, and they are all on flat land. However, when you copy and paste them into this terrain is very much not flat at all. So it does become quite a challenge to get it from that original flat piece of land over here into this terrain. So you'll see that I have to be quite strategic with how I paste it in, and then how I change the elevation and where I change the elevation. That's not the button I meant to click. So between the front and the back, I believe there's a difference of 3 blocks. So I had, nope, sorry, 2 blocks. So I made it come up here, go back by 2, and then up here again as well. That is pretty common to see the elevation either in front or behind the house. I don't typically see it too much. Actually, never mind. I'm going to stop talking. Take everything I say with a grain of salt, by the way. I don't actually know what I'm doing. I kind of do, but most of the time, not really. I'm just winging it. I really love all of these houses. They are very, very fantastic. There you go. You see that one house again? See? So you basically copy and paste those templates, then you change up the materials, you change up some of the identifiable features, such as that right there. And then you can add things on the front or the back, just so that if you're walking by it on the front, maybe on this one, since we've already seen this house, it is also right there. But on the front of this one, we have a giant wall of greenery. So you can't actually see it. And that's really the beauty of templates, is you can change up the front, you can change the front yard, you can make it so that you can't even see the house at all. That also works. Maybe you can add some trees to kind of mask it a little bit, but that way you build 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 houses, and then you can copy and paste it, and all of a sudden you have 100. If we go around back, you can see the back of the laneways here. Just change it up ever so slightly. Maybe you change a fence. Maybe you replace this one. See, this one's kind of a guest house almost. Like, you could replace this guest house with maybe this garage. Like, you could swap them back and forth, and all of a sudden it looks like a brand new house when you're walking back here in the alleyway. But that's just how I approach my cities. Back over to the front here, I'll show you a couple of the details. I use this in the other part of the city, which we will see here in a few minutes. This is a little fire hydrant, which I thought was pretty cool. It's just a wall, and then you stick a button on top. As seen in my last video, this tree is a baby tree that has the plastic wrap around the bottom here. I don't know, I thought that was a cool design, and then just some podzol down there, because it is still working on growing. This is a little stepping stone. Because if it's raining a lot, you probably don't want to step on this grass when you're going from your house into your car. Speaking of cars, I did also show this in my last video, but I'm going to show you again. Here's my nice little car. Check it out. Pretty cool. Alpine 2. Anyway, that's this area. I am going to go way over here. Let's go see what we've worked on. Okay, now we are in the neighborhood of East Village. This is the one that started it all. Yeah, we've made a little bit of progress since last video, and please excuse me, I am going to lag a little bit here because I do have Distant Horizons cranked up, but you can see it looks quite cool. Not too bad, eh? We also happen to have a giant cathedral. That is a work in progress. That is being built by Josh. The top is obviously not done yet, but it is a work in progress. So if we take a closer look here, you can see how detailed it actually is, and it is quite incredible. I don't know how you come up with this, or even build it at all, but this is unbelievable. And I don't want to show the inside too much. There is a giant organ, which is pretty fantastic, but I don't want to give that away just yet. Wow, my frames do not like this area. I'll try to move very slowly, but over here, was this one in the last video, the Chrysler building? Anyway, we have the Chrysler building now. That was built by Jeff, which is really cool. And it even looks so good, even though it's outside of my render distance and just loaded using Distant Horizons. Look how cool that looks. But we'll fly up there and check out all those new skyscrapers here in a second. This is a new area that a couple of our builders are working on. We have this really, really cool view corridor. I love view corridors. That's just an empty pocket of urban space, so that if you stand right here and look down there, you can see that building right there, which was built by Jeff, and then that other building right there, that was also built by Jeff. I don't know. I think it's pretty cool. Lots of new buildings in this area. The roads are slightly different here. Wow, I'm lagging out. If I lower my render distance, does that help? That helps a little bit. Okay. So this is one of the few times where I am okay with using entities. This was some Axiom magic. I don't know exactly how they did it, but for the most part, I try to keep entities to a minimum, but I do like stuff like this occasionally. Because if if you guys are exploring the city, I have a feeling that you guys would want to be able to recreate a lot of these buildings. But if you see complex entities like that, you'll say, hey, I don't know how to do that, so it might not be as enjoyable for you to explore. But I do like the occasional one, which is pretty cool. There is also a Tim Hortons around here somewhere. I don't know where it went. There's also one way up at the ski resort that is still a work in progress that, not much progress has been made on that yet. But stay tuned for that. If we go over here, there has been a couple changes. This is a new building, I believe. I don't think you guys have seen this one. Sort of a cool modernist one, I think. I don't know if it's modernist or not, but it is pretty cool. This over here, we have a little canal. And then I believe these are residential units. But that's pretty cool. And then you also have this pretty cool bluish turquoise one. I really like the texturing on this. That's pretty cool. Very nice. Now, the greatest part about this city is all of the incredible views that you get with Distant Horizons. And I am using Bliss shaders, by the way. Basically, the only adjustments to Bliss shaders are the cloud settings. I don't exactly know how I did it, but you can just mess around with it, and you'll get something like this. But did I mention that we're going to be using this for Hunger Games? Like OG Hunger Games? It's going to be pretty cool. I don't know when that's going to happen. I still have to figure out how to make that work. But we are going to make that happen. Before we do Hunger Games, there is still quite a bit that we have to do. I am thinking of essentially blocking off the roads probably right here because obviously we're not going to complete the entire city before we have the first Hunger Games. But if we fly up here in the neighborhood of East Village, you can see that there are about 12 city blocks that are substantially complete. Now there's still some stuff that we do have to do, like back here, work in progress. Yeah, we'll figure that out. But the great thing about this city, aside from the views, is that if you come all the way down here, and don't mind that we still need to texture the roads, add more street decor, everything like that. But that's a work in progress. Essentially, the great part about this city is that you can walk down here and then it feels like New York, with the exception of the empty roads. Don't worry, we're working on that. If you've ever actually walked in New York, you will notice that having a tree and then having a staircase sticking out and kind of making it so you have to like shift by a little bit, that is very realistic. I thought it was a lie before I went there, and then I went there and I thought, oh yeah, it is a little bit annoying that everything's sticking out into each other. But I don't know, it's just New York. It makes it New York. I like it. Anyway, let's keep going down here. This is one of the avenues that's going to go way up there. Don't mind that floating thing in the sky. That's just a marker for the bridge. Have you guys seen the bridge? We'll go up there in a bit. But there's another example of entities. It's really unfortunate that they do despawn if you go back a little bit. That's kind of annoying. But I guess it saves your computer a little bit. Again, I'm sorry for the lag, but yeah, lots of new buildings over here. Lots of work in progress. Stay tuned. You have some buildings over here. I don't think you guys have seen this one. I believe this one is on Park Avenue. This is the Rockefeller Center, which should have been in the previous episode. And the studio that was used for Pine Time, which is based on a late night show, is actually in the top here, somewhere in there. We do have these other buildings, Matt Corp. Pretty cool. Nice views of the mountains over there. And there's that bridge. See that over there? That is based on the Iron Workers Memorial Bridge, connecting Vancouver to Vancouver. What am I saying? I can't. Hold on. Let me take a sip of coffee. Delicious. That is based on the Iron Workers Memorial Bridge, which connects Vancouver to North Vancouver, I think. Or does it go into Burnaby? Is it Burnaby? Whatever. Anyway, it's basically connected to Vancouver. This here is a building that is called the Soon TM Building, as we can see down here on the sign. Now, if you guys have been following the channel for long enough, you will know that there's kind of an ongoing joke with this channel where I will add TM, as in trademark, to the end of very common words, just because I feel like it is ridiculous that some companies try to trademark very basic words. It all kind of started with moose, and I added Moose TM, but go watch my older videos if you want to see Moose TM. Moose TM is actually hiding somewhere in the mountains. I don't know where he is. I don't know where he went. I don't know what he's doing. I don't know what he's up to, but he's hiding up there somewhere. This is a pretty cool spot, which has been here for a number of months, but this is going to be, at some point, the starting point for the Hunger Games once we get the map-wide area complete. That was not a proper sentence. I'm struggling. Once we have the Hunger Games over here, we're actually going to start it in that little pit right there. You see that? It's going to be right over there. Anyway, let's check out this building. This is a very cool building. I love this one very much. This one is called the Sequoia building, which was built by Mata Arch. And if we come all the way down here, we can see some really cool stuff. Check out these flags. And there you go. This is the type of entity use that I like. This Sequoia building. So Mata Arch made this American flag, which is made up of 5 different banners, and I figured, hey, I want a Canadian flag there too. So I decided to essentially copy it, but kind of make an abstract flag. Oh, look at that. I'm getting distracted, but Ewan, one of our new builders, he has also built on Cubed in the city of Andia quite a bit, but he is an experienced shipbuilder, so he's been building us some sailboats. There's lots of cool details down here. Mata Arch, whoa. That makes funny noises. Anyway, lots of cool details over here. I like this little barrier. That's very interesting. Looks cool. But yeah, lots of new towers here. This one was built by Jeff. This is based on one in New York City, in Manhattan. I really love this building so much. Whoa, that's way too zoomed in. But there you go. You get the picture. It looks pretty cool. We also have this building over here, which is also based on one in New York. It kind of flares out at the bottom there. But I really love this style. I think it's very, very cool. Now, one of the issues that I run into with my previous Minecraft cities is I will essentially build one style way, way, way too much. But in this case of Sequoia, we have a lot of different builders, and I've basically asked them to try to vary the style a little bit. So we have a little bit of everything. So you have that one. You have ones that are more Mies van der Rohe-esque. And then, of course, you have your Art Deco. Here's the Chrysler Building, built by Jeff. Really fantastic. You have those frog lights behind there. But look how cool this looks. It's such a great building. All these setbacks. Fantastic. And even you have this one, I believe was also built by Jeff, with these very, very Manhattan-esque setbacks. But this is going to be a pretty cool street, which is going to continue down there. I'm not exactly how I'm going to end the street when it gets to the river, because originally there was not planned to be a river, but there is a river there now. Oh yeah, if you're wondering what this thing is, this is the housing template, where all of those houses were built, and you'll probably recognize that one there as well. Whoa, whoa, go back, mouse. Oh, go back. Oh, okay, there we go. But that was where I built the original building. Those are all the housing templates before they got put into... Where to go? Oh, it's around here somewhere. There you go. It's hiding way over there. Kind of see that? There you go. Oh yeah, this is a new building too. Let's go check this one out. So I believe this one is currently the tallest in the city. Let's let it load here. But look how incredible this looks. The amount of detail in this build is unbelievable. It's actually incredible. Oh, and you have these kind of like gargoyles sticking out, I think. Is that what that is? It's absolutely incredible. I'm not sure exactly what style this is. Does it? I don't know if it falls under Art Deco or not. It might. I don't know. But still a work in progress down here. But it's very, very cool. This was built by Beppis. Beppis has been a large contributor to this city. He's built a lot of very, very cool stuff. Let's fly over here and check out some of these floating skyscrapers. These are, I believe, built by Jeff. I could be mistaken, but I'm pretty sure they're built by Jeff. This is based on, I believe, the BMO towers in Vancouver, British Columbia, which is very, very cool. We also have Vancouver House, which you guys would have seen in previous episodes. This one is based on the Charleston. This was built by Beppis. I think I showed this off in the last video. I think you probably would have seen most of these. But this is in Yaletown, which is in essentially downtown Vancouver, kind of. I'm not exactly sure where the boundary of downtown Vancouver is, because there's a peninsula, and then if you search downtown Vancouver, it shows just the office part. Anyway, whatever. That's up for debate. Or maybe it's not. I don't know. Maybe I'm just completely wrong. But it's pretty cool. Over here we have some other cool stuff, which you would have seen, but have you seen that? Yeah, you've seen that one. There's the bridge again. It looks very, very cool. But, oh, wait, there's something else in the mountains that I want you guys to see. We'll just fly by this bridge here. Very cool bridge. But this over here is Mount Seymour. And up here, you'll notice there's a little something sticking out. Actually, there's a couple things sticking out. This is a house that was built by Beppis, which is very, very cool. Little trees on top. For this area, Beppis originally just did make this one house. I don't know if that was English or a proper sentence structure. With me talking, I don't know how to talk. But Beppis made this house, and he decided to add some trees on top that are very comparable to the ones around it, and some greenery as well. And you can see that the materials are all a dark brown, for the most part, with the exception of the supports down here. But the idea is to blend this into the mountain. Now, there is a little bit of interior. We will check that out real quick. But there is another house over there, which I also want to show you. Whoa, lag spike. I'm sorry. Oh, we're facing the skyline. So just bear with me here. But the views from this, especially when my settings are cranked up, are absolutely incredible. So if you sit at your dining room table or stand on top of it, I guess, you can look way down here and see all these skyscrapers. There you go. Sequoia is looking pretty good, isn't it? Not too bad. But, if we go back this way, let's see if my frames are fixed a little bit. But I really love this house. It's very cool. Nice little garage over there. But, up here, Beppis made a nice road. But if we follow this all the way to the end, what's going on up here? I'm going to get rid of that. But if we follow this all the way to the end, again, I apologize for my frames, but too bad you're going to have to deal with it until I decide to actually plug in my new GPU. Anyway, this is the second house that he's currently working on. I don't want to give it away just yet. I guess the outside is mostly done with the exception of this section over here. But kind of the same concept, same materials, same idea with the trees and the greenery on top. so that it does blend into the mountain. But if we go right here, let's check out the view. Okay, you ready for my frames to explode? That's not bad. Look at that. That's pretty good. That cathedral is going to look fantastic when it's done. It looks great now, but I'm really excited to see it when it's done. So I think to end this video, I'm going to fly up here. I would actually love to make a bunch of hiking trails in these mountains because, it is kind of incredible. It's probably some of the best terrain I've ever seen. And I'm not just saying that because I'm the one building in the city. I did not make this terrain, but it's an actual terrain. It's based on GIS data of Vancouver, British Columbia, and the surrounding areas. And excuse me while my computer explodes, but if we come up here, we have a pretty beautiful view. And I would love to add some hiking trails way, way, way up here. I need to connect it to the road system somehow. Not exactly sure how I'm going to do that, but this terrain is at a 1:4 scale approximately. Holy leg. I don't care. It's worth it. See how pretty this looks? That's fine. You guys get a slideshow. Oh, actually, it's not that bad. It's really not that bad. Anyway, that is all for this video. If you like this video, click like. If you really like it, click subscribe. Make sure to check out my website, www.alpine1.co. Check out City Design 101. It's a good time. Thank you so much for watching. Goodbye.